Hello everyone, thanks for watching those ads. The Korean stream does need about, 8 more minutes here. Do their own thing and get everyone set up, I guess, in the booths as well, as it is a live, offline production happening on that stream, twitch.tv/OlimoLeague. It is still affecting, the rest of the stream. So we're going to be waiting for a while, which is a lot of downtime. Might go to another break before everything is set up, just because, I don't know, there's only so much we can talk about, How's your day going? It's 3:41 in the morning for you.
Yeah, I had I'm like somehow awake, but I think it's like that delirious awakeness where I tried to go to bed around like 7 o'clock, but I just couldn't fall asleep until around, I fell asleep around like 8, and I slept for like 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours, woke up around 11, and then I just sat in bed until I think it was 12:30, and then I fell asleep for like 20 minutes, and then I woke up on my alarm, and I'm like, ugh. I would have been so much better off if I had just gotten up after I woke up 3 hours later. Or just like stayed up all night. I would have been probably better.
Probably. I'm actually feeling okay.
But you?
I have a Red Bull in the fridge, it's called my name, but I'm going to save it for the next cast, which I guess we can talk about. So we're doing a double day today. The OlimoLeague, of course, we still got to finish this out. Best of 5, best of 7. Ideally, a bit of a break in between, and then the I always forget which acronym it is, to be honest.
WCA?
WCA, yeah, you're right. WCA, the World Cyber Arena European qualifier is happening at 11 a.m. EST. So in 5 hours, 4 hours, something like that. And we'll be casting that, so that's going to be interesting. Actually, a quick look at what exactly that looks like, but we'll give you more information, I guess, when that gets cast, because of course it's still on the OlimoLeague. And if you don't already know, it's mainly supported by the Patreon. Of course, Twitch Korea now being partnered is really awesome. We have this live production. If you go to twitch.tv/OlimoLeague, you can check it out. But you can see you can also support the League on Patreon. It's patreon.com/OlimoLeague, actually, not OlimoLeague, which is like a little deceiving for the overlay, but you guys will figure it out. And there's a lot of perks that you can go there and not just donate weekly because you want to support the Korean StarCraft scene, which is a great reason to do so, but also if you want like me to cast a game, or if you want the replays, or there's like a bunch of other stuff. And I think they're trying, Liv's gonna try and add on more stuff too with the partnership with Twitch, but it's certainly a cool incentive. It's been going strong for over a year now. A year and a half, I want to say.
That's really cool. And I think like one of the coolest things is that, especially there's always like this fear. I'm sure like you can also testify to this. Like there's a little bit of this fear as a content creator where you say like, oh, I'm going to launch this thing and like reception's really good at start in the beginning. You're like, is this just gonna fall off? Is this just like because I just announced it's like a hip thing right now, and in like a month or 2 or 3 months, people are just gonna start unsupporting it and stuff? And like, no, that never really happened. Like, OlimoLeague has only continued to grow and become bigger and better, which I think is really, really freaking awesome, and definitely goes to show like what a great tournament it's been. Like, people like it, and they didn't just like the idea of it; they liked how it actually came out in the end, and they continue to support it.
Yeah. I've been doing nothing but growing in the Patreon up until about 6 months ago, and it's been very consistent at the top tier, which is like perfectly cool. To get to all tiers is really, really nice. That's kind of the spiel for the advertising. Still have a few minutes to wait, and again, it's going to be a TvT. It's going to be TvT for the rest of this, the OlimoLeague. So buckle in, Fear Dragon.
It's okay. I'm gonna learn a lot about TvT. I got my StarCraft notebook. I just need to review the VODs later and write down all these timings.
Yeah.
I actually don't think I have any notes on TvT.
Well, why would you?
No, I don't.
You don't play any.
I have ZVZ notes. Did you know that average baneling nest in ZVZ finishes at 245?
I was there when you were writing all that down, I think.
You may have been there for some of it.
Yeah, because I think when we were watching something that had like 2 ZVZ in a row, and you were like, oh, that one's different than last time. I was like,
Oh, yeah. I think I do remember that.
Yeah, huh?
Yeah.
That's mostly what I do.
Well, I'm enjoying my StarCraft notebook because it's a nice methodical approach to learning StarCraft, which is something I haven't done for a really long time.
Yeah. Downtime's a killer, man. It's making me more tired than anything else has.
I know, right? I'm not even necessarily at this point dreading the second cast. I'm dreading the downtime between the OlimoLeague cast and the WCA cast.
I just hope it's enough to have a really good nap. You know, like hour and a half.
I'm worried it's not going to be. An hour and a half is not a really good nap.
Yeah,
3 hours.
It's a perfect REM cycle.
3 hours is a nap.
Okay. I don't think you're gonna get 3 hours.
Like, if this series takes like 15 minutes, and then the following series takes like another 15 minutes, then we're talking. It's taking me like 30 minutes to also fall asleep first.
I suppose. 40 minutes is actually like the perfect amount of nap, I think, or something like that, where it's like you feel refreshed.
No.
Uh-huh.
45.
Perfect
what?
nap time.
A full REM cycle takes an hour and a half.
I know,
right?
but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to be
in the middle of a REM cycle if you
Hold
only
on.
sleep 5
Science,
minutes.
Fear Dragon, science is going to back me up about this, all right?
I am older than you. I know better than you, okay?
By like months. 10 to 20 minutes. This power nap is ideal for a boost in alertness and energy. This length usually limits you to later stages of non-rapid eye movements, making it easier to hit the ground running after waking up. 30 minutes. Some studies show sleeping this long may cause sleep inertia, hangover-like groggy feeling that lasts for 30 minutes after, so don't do 30 minutes. 60 minutes. This nap is best for improvement in remembering facts, faces, and names. It includes slow-wave sleep, the deepest type. The downside, some grogginess upon waking up. So it's either 10 to 20 minutes, maybe 60, but ideally 90. There we go. Science. I could go with
the ground as in you're groggy and you fell asleep at the wheel and like just hit the ground.
Damn, man. It's getting dark, yo. I thought you were gonna roll off the couch.
That too. That also works.
Whatever. Ooh, I do want to talk about my new shirt, since no one's gonna know what it is, except for like 2 people. This is Mamamoo, but check this out. Hold on. I've actually never done this before. Hey!
I don't have your camera.
I know. Does it actually show up? Yeah, it does. Okay, I did it right. I have a shirt that on the back, it has like, you know, it's like a jersey almost. Not really, but it has like a number and the name of my favorite Mamamoo person. What's up?
Ah, Mamma Mia. That was a great play.
I'll kill ya. I'll kill ya.
H was a what?
We're starting 1 minute, yay! H is a what now?
It said, what's the back of your shirt say? H was a what?
HWASA, which is a person's name. Well, it's her stage name anyways. Wasa.
Oh, I understand.
There you go. There you go.
I was like, H was a what? Like, what is the bottom word?
I don't even know what number was on it. 2? Is it a 2? Oh wait, nope.
0,
I'm not seeing all of it.
I think it was like an 8 or
It was
something.
95, I think. I'm looking in the mirror right now, so it's like backwards. But... So I did
you're
get
saying
a
it was
good
like
look at the
59.
t-shirt before I wore it. Whatever.
You know, I still do that a lot of the time. Like, I'll have my clothes pile because I don't put away my clothes usually when I'm done with washing them. But I'll have like my clothes pile, and I'll just be like, you know what? I feel like wearing a black shirt today. I'll just like pick a black shirt out of the pile, and I'm like, oh, this is an MLG shirt. All right, time to go cast DreamHack qualifiers. Like,
sometimes, you know, we all, at one point, I think all of us considered you the more, like, the better adult than any of us, right? Like, you got this, like, stable job,
what do
and...
we considered?
That's my point, right? You got the stable job, and you're the one that's, like, you know, apartment hunting, and, like, you got, like, these, like, you know, adult things going on, like buying a second house or some shit. Like, I don't know. You're all, like, adult, right?
Look where this is going.
And then we find out that you don't even bother to buy furniture. You sometimes forget. You sometimes forget to eat. And you're too lazy. Sometimes you just drink a beer.
I make a deliberate choice not to eat.
No, there's just so many times you're like, oh shit,
beer instead.
I should have had dinner. Oh well. Like, you do it so often. And then now I found out that you don't even fold your clothes, which is something that I 50% of the time don't do. But just you're deceiving adult, man.
You by yourself, you don't have, like, you have to realize my, like, clothes drawer is my dryer. I literally just leave my clothes in my dryer.
You can also use that dryer as your chair. you know, when you really think about it. You just sit on top
No,
of it.
it's one of those things that's like mounted onto the wall.
Oh, never mind then.
Yeah.
Damn.
I could technically maybe move my washing machine, but I think that that requires like the water, so it has like that big old pipe hose.
Just shout at them from across the room. Oh god.
You know, I'd have the same amount of echo in my microphone that's annoying me lately.
Oh yeah, I forgot. While we were on break, Cats hosted the stream. Sorry about that, but thank you very much. It's been 10 minutes. It's great.
So much. Hmm.
Kind of want to go grab that.
I've been, I guess, while we're still waiting around, like I recently, just last night, got my N64 set up for streaming. So I have like audio and like video and everything working, and I have like a preview screen that's not like super delayed that I can play off of. But I've been trying to figure out like what N64 games I should play. You had an N64, right?
Hells yeah, I still have one.
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out like which ones I should play on stream, because I'm starting to think about it. I'm like, you know, the way I played Banjo-Kazooie was like I would go around, I would like be super active and like getting stuff done. And then I'd get to the point where I was at like, say, like 90, like 80 or 90 notes, or like Super Mario 64, I'd have like 90 coins or something. And then I'd spend like an hour and a half hunting down the last 10 coins, the last 10 notes. And I feel like that would be really boring to watch.
Yeah, it's really weird though. You would consider that like Final Fantasy level grinding would be boring to watch, but sometimes that's like all people just want to do is chill and watch something like that. So it's kind of at this point whenever I think, oh, people don't want to watch that, I'm like, oh, I'm silly. People watch anything.
Yeah.
By the way, as we wait for this to start off, which is gonna happen very soon, yeah, I told them already, the Korean stream, twitch.tv/OlimoLeague, does show, like, they're like going around with the camera and like going up on GuMiho and showing him, and now I know what NaTuRal looks like. Is that the new MVP jacket? Why is it red? I didn't know
That
they had a
logo actually looks like a Naruto jacket.
Oh my god, you're right. Like, oh my god, you're so right. What
The
is
little
that?
like apple, the AE.
Yeah, it looks like the sign for Shinobi or whatever. No, it's the sign for the green, the Leaf Clan. Oh my god, I totally forgot about the clans. Oh, okay, whatever. Leaf Village, that's what it was.
If you were to put GuMiho and NaTuRal into particular like clans, or like if you were to give them specialties in Naruto, who would they be? Like, what would there be their special? Would they be like ninjutsu or genjutsu, taijutsu?
Oh my god, it's ninjutsu, genjutsu, and then what's the third one?
Taijutsu.
Is it really?
That's,
okay.
Yeah, that was like just purely physical attacks.
See, that's the one that I kept choosing because I used to make role-playing characters. And I always like the ones that just fought, you know, like the Rock Lees, basically.
Yeah.
I didn't really experiment with the other stuff, but I don't know. This is really, I mean, I thought I had entirely forgotten about
role-play characters
Naruto.
on like on the fan site, where you like role-play.
Yes.
No, I'm not. This is not like a judgment thing. I used to do that too. Oh my god, I had no idea.
Yeah! Woohoo! We're so dorky. What's up?
You mean freaking badasses as we
Right?
jump into the game and introduce the players.
Yeah, just cut the ball here.
Spawning up here in the top left-hand corner of the map, we have the red Terran player. Give it up for GuMiho.
In the bottom right, as the blue Terran, he is NaTuRal, all natural. Thank you to TSA or Samunk for the 17-month resub.
Or Samunk, you know, whichever one.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, he might really hate the TSA and hates that people say his name is TSA Maunk. I don't know. I don't know his life. And it's been 17 months and I still don't know how to pronounce his name. Nailed it. Anyway, we do have what looks to be just a Reaper expand from NaTuRal. That's a little risky on basically any map that's not a 4-player map, because the chances of a proxy Reaper or double Reaper is kind of high. Especially in a best of 5 where you do have that kind of, not throwaway game, but like I'm going to open up a little bit more aggressively. GuMiho is opening up a bit more aggressively, just not with multiple Reaper. It's going for a 1-base, 1-1-1.
Definitely kind of interesting to see. I'm actually taking a look at like just NaTuRal's recent history and everything, and you know, I would have said, hey, he had a pretty solid, or like getting a pretty solid win over Keen. That's actually pretty impressive. And I know that we got to catch like game 3 and everything. But I'm taking a look at like his recent history. He lost to Kelazur not but what 3 days ago, 2-0 in like an SC2 online tournament. He lost to Keen like 5 days ago or something.
Yes, we cast
In
that.
BaseTradeTV, like the Corsair Cup.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He actually hasn't been doing that well in terms of like TvTs lately.
Yeah,
So-
and that's why him taking out Keen was so surprising. Was not because Keen is like an ultimate god, but just because NaTuRal hasn't been kind of that next step of winning a series. He's been showcasing that he can win a series, but not actually doing so. So the win versus Keen is a, you know, it's going along the lines of like what I was talking about, that NaTuRal is this up and comer and he does look better, but not finals winner quite yet. And GuMiho, I think, is going to be a real test, and then we're going to have to talk about Byun after that if NaTuRal's able to win. But GuMiho has always been pretty good at TvT. He's always been very interesting with TvT too, because he is one of those guys that can go mech. I mean, GuMiGod mech was totally a thing once upon a time. And if we see a game on Frost, I think we might see mech from GuMiho. But first, it's this drop. It's set up off that one base. NaTuRal only just finishing up soon. And GuMiho will have to take out a couple SCVs.
Yeah, should be able to get some damage done over here as the Hellions aren't exactly in like super high number and not even getting the best angle for this. GuMiho's done a really nice job of getting a nice spread of his Marines, making sure that the Hellions can't hit all of the Marines at the same time. In fact, these Hellions can only hit one Marine at a time. This is doing a lot right now.
It's just dealing damage to a command center, though, but there come the Hellions, and the Medevac is doing a great job healing everything. The Banshee comes out, and that's going to be able to clean everything up. Meanwhile, Reapers did cancel, or stall out the command center, which is really nice, as well as get a couple SCVs themselves. So that was a nice little counter for NaTuRal. And honestly, everything considered, as long as he doesn't suddenly lose the Banshee, which should never happen.
Is he dodging the shots of the Banshee with the Medevac pickup micro? I didn't realize that we were watching StarCraft Master right now.
Hey-o.
This is really sick.
Yeah. I mean, GuMiho has always been a sick player, but the point is, the Banshee was never going to die. And without, you know, it dying, he could not do anything more. Maybe he tries to run by with the Hellions, but there was a bit of a makeshift wall here. So, that does mean NaTuRal doesn't get his Banshee on the other side of the map, which is a problem. Kind of. It could be killing SCVs, and it might just kill a lot of SCVs. I don't know if this is worth for GuMiho.
I mean, the Cyclone's going to be popping out pretty soon, so he just needs to pull... Yes, he preemptively pulls his workers, because he knows it's coming, and that Banshee has also used up quite a bit of his cloak energy. Whoa, GuMiho getting hyper-aggressive with that Medevac. It is going to get locked onto by the Cyclones. The Medevac will likely end up falling, which is a bit unfortunate, but he still gets a lot of damage done.
The Cyclone cannot die, and it almost did. It's seriously like his last line of defense. The auto turret's out, and he needs to kill that Banshee. The Cyclone dies, though. The bunker finishes. A single Marine gets in it. This is some really, like, close to just snowballing potential, and it's really quite good the bunker ended up finishing. That could have been so much worse for NaTuRal. Banshee still alive for GuMiho. Might be able to take out a couple SCVs in the future. Banshee from NaTuRal to die over here. And
yeah, to the Cyclone.
NaTuRal still comes out a bit ahead when it comes to the economy. Starts a faster third command center and is pretty even on army supplies. So I think with that clutch defense, he just comes out ahead.
Yeah, ever so slightly. I think GuMiho having 2 Banshees alive is kind of nice, though. Just because, especially since he's repairing back up both of those Banshees. Those can always be useful for kind of coming back in a little bit later on. It forces your opponent to continue to make more of those Vikings. And if they don't keep the Viking lead, then suddenly those Banshees become relevant again. And that's always a really annoying thing for a Terran player to deal with.
Yeah. NaTuRal didn't uncloak the Banshee, so it kind of runs out of energy. He's gonna wait, because if he comes in when GuMiho's not expecting it, he could get quite a few SCVs. Granted, he doesn't just run into the missile turrets. The enemy goes for a third base on location, another use for the Banshee. Just kill it at one SCV.
Ooh.
Yeah, there you go, there you go.
These rocks were never knocked down for either player since they've been so busy dealing with everything. So that does allow GuMiho to move in behind the back door, and he can siege up over here. It's going to be really annoying for NaTuRal to try and defend this, because guess what? He doesn't have any medevacs out. He's been making Vikings, so he can't even reposition his siege tanks.
Well, he's going to lose the high ground advantage, or
Ooh, that's
vision.
okay. That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, he got kind
Auto
of
turret killed off
slapped.
a siege tank.
But GuMiho does get into the main base and kills a couple SCVs. His third command center, however, is going to be canceled by this Banshee. Uh-oh.
Oh my god.
Ooh, that's pretty good. NaTuRal is just getting leads everywhere, and it's really starting to amount to something serious, you know? 15 army supply up, even upgrades, even stim, and just simply a faster third command center. NaTuRal is looking quite good in this TvT. Oh
Yeah.
my god, more SCVs. No, the ones putting the barracks is so annoying. Oh, no, it's gonna die. JK.
Right. Well, Banshee finally gets cleaned up, but NaTuRal has a way faster third expansion. Also, big thank you to the one and only Mr. Boris Makarov for the 26-month resub. Holy cow.
It's a long
26
time.
years.
Oh, you little Mimi, you. The Maymays. The memes. Anyway, it looks like NaTuRal is prepared to even push. You know, he doesn't have combat shields, but he will have stim, or maybe just repositioning for the defense. I think he can push. I think he can get kind of like even a soft contain going down. I think it'd be worth it. First cleans up the Banshee. I think he has another one. Yeah. So it'll come back later, and he still wants to get the missile turret down here, but the push is commencing. It's going to go towards the back. Not necessary, I would say, but certainly abusable.
Well, we do have a lot of the upgrades for both these players finishing up. It looks like they are just both finishing up stim and +1 weapons, but yeah, NaTuRal can get some serious damage done over here because GuMiho's not pulling any of his workers.
8 workers go down, the gas is going to go down. Maybe even a couple of supply depots. But there's not much that GuMiho can do about this. He does not have an even army supply, much less an overwhelming one that would be necessary to take care of this. The drops were a good idea, but there's Vikings, there's Marines. Maybe not so much Vikings anymore. That's a mistake from NaTuRal cycle to take them out.
GuMiho's Banshee also gets scanned and picked off rather quickly. Only, he kills off 2 workers. That was pretty much it, though.
Yeah, not
He's
much.
still losing his own.
Gonna be a counterattack. There's enough back at home that if all this was in position, this is not a problem. Oh, maybe. No. Hey, hit your butt. Okay. I guess he is gonna counterattack. Right? Maybe trying to catch reinforcements, too? It seems a little indecisive. It's a kind of a, just a...
Oh my god,
moving, but not
GuMiho.
doing very much.
GuMiho has like Dragoon pathing on these units or something from Brood War because they're just moving back and forth, and I don't really think that they know where the entrance to this like little choke point is, but they finally find it a little bit too late. Gonna be able to kill off 2 of the medevacs, but the siege tank unloads just in time, gets a couple of final shots off before it goes down. But at the same time, drop moves in the main base. It should get cleaned up, but not before an absurd more number of workers go down. 35 workers or 34 workers die.
In total. 43-20, and GuMiho's just gonna tap out. You know, surprisingly, he had a decent army supply. If he had all in right then and there, maybe. Because
Hold the
NaTuRal...
voice.
Well, yeah, I don't know about that. But NaTuRal had a couple of tanks, you know, they're in the NaTuRal, they're in the main base. If he wasn't making his third, it could have been the start of a comeback. But not gonna bother. It's a best of 5. Sometimes just cutting your losses is the best way to go. And it's gonna be GuMiho's map choice now. Thanks to DeWitt49 for the 27-month resub. Yeehaw, go Team Terran.
It. 49. Like, daw.
It.
He's a 49.
Daw, the It monster, you're so cute and you're a boo. Did you read It?
Yeah. Go Team Terran team. Much love from Sweden. Team Terran.
I mean, I think Team Terran is winning, so good for him. But did you read It? It?
What?
It by Stephen King?
Oh no.
I can never quite tell if someone's in on the joke or legitimately does not know. I'm asking them if they've read the book It.
I know about the movie It, which was about that super creepy clown, but...
Yeah, it's the movie based off the book.
Oh, no. I haven't seen or watched...
Oh, you really didn't know that was based off a Stephen King book?
No, I didn't.
Wow. Well, the book is much more messed up than the movie, and the movie's already pretty weird. But you wouldn't love the monster It. In fact, it's super creepy.
I am not a horror person. I don't watch horror movies. I don't read horror books. I'm never gonna watch that Stranger or whatever show on Netflix that everyone's been raving about recently.
What?
'Cause I'm just
Really?
like, nope.
It's not even that
Nope.
scary. There's like 2 jump surprises, and the rest is just a look
Nope.
creepy. Oh my god.
I'm just not into horror. I don't even do roller coasters usually.
That really?
I'm a
Those are my
happy
favorite.
person. Zombie
Oh,
Grub,
man.
I watch White Collar because it's a happy show. And even
White
when
person
things
show.
are going wrong, I still feel happy.
Damn, man. Oh, well, I guess well, that's your prerogative. I really think that Stephen King, while he does have scary books, they're always just so much more interesting than they are, like, scary. Because you can't do very much, like, shock horror in books. Like, oh my god, I read that from 2 pages away. But it's still, like, really a fun read. Well, whatever. Point is, the It monster is super scary, and apparently, I was, like, watching this, like, Facebook thing. Like, there's, like, this creepy-ass clown that's going around Green Bay at night and just holds like black balloons, and people don't know why, and like there's a bunch of like pictures being taken of it. I feel like it's a guerrilla marketing campaign that hasn't been revealed yet, but it creeps me the fuck out.
I think there's some, I'm trying to remember, it wasn't quite that, but there was also something of like this, there's like it's like an urban legend sort of thing where people will just see like, I think it's like a clown that's making like giant balloon trees or something on the East Coast. It's like super weird. It's just like, and he does it like at 4 in the morning or something, and just like people see him and he just leaves, doesn't say anything.
2 real quick things before we talk about this game, because there's a T-Rex on the way. Speaking of 2 things,
Oh, yeah.
1, how can you call yourself Fear Dragon and be afraid of horror stuff? Okay, just that was a really good point. Thanks, chat.
Because fear is not an element, I am afraid of dragons. Or no, I'm a dragon that inflicts fear on others, but I can also be afraid myself.
Okay.
Boom.
And 2, the area that I live in is actually like there's a lot of like folk horror stories or whatever that originate around Virginia, and like the Blair Witch Project happened around here supposedly, and there's like the Goat Man story apparently happened around here. Like you got that and it creeps me out. But anyway, I don't think we did the intros. The bottom writes. As the Red Terran, he is GuMiho. Woo!
And up in the top left, we have the blue Terran player with the double racks and currently up 1-0. Give it up for NaTuRal, who has no NaTuRal.
Heyo. Thanks to Arrogance GG for the 7-month resub. And the 2 racks will commence eventually, but it's not super dedicated. He's getting a command center. Very quickly.
Yeah, I guess that's the nice thing when you go for the 2 racks is that you can eventually get that 3rd CC much faster than like 3 racks Reaper, which you end up seeing like a lot in TvZ. But ooh, that Reaper, it's aware that the Olympics are going on.
Heyo. This is really like super not scary. 2 racks against someone who goes for a 1 racks expansion sometimes can be scary, even though it's not super committed, And it's just not right now. NaTuRal took the long way around, so he didn't even come here as fast as possible. His Reapers bulked up in the main. He's only getting 3 of them, too, instead of 5.
I think what's interesting about it is that, yeah, it felt like his 2nd and 3rd Reapers were delayed, so maybe he was hoping to make this look like a 1 Reaper opening. And because of that, if there was like an earlier reactor or something like coming out, maybe just like less Marines coming out, hoping that GuMiho would play a bit greedier, but I don't know if that was the case and that was his intention, but either way, it doesn't work out like you were saying.
Fortunately loses the Reaper too. Probably could have gotten a better scout. You know what they're doing. If they're not going for 5 Reapers and then some, they've got a command center, and that means that they are just slowly building up to a starport, and you should have, for sure, a faster one. It's the one downside, I suppose, of the 2 racks Reaper opener. You kind of know what's coming up behind it. But I definitely see where you're going with like that thought process, and maybe NaTuRal was thinking that, but it was just so odd because so much of Reaper openings, rely on some very precise timing. Oh well.
Well, regardless, factory has finished up, and we do have a siege tank count. That should, well, amazingly enough, NaTuRal's been able to keep 2 of these Reapers alive, which is kind of nice. So. Should catch wind of the push out that's happening right over here, so NaTuRal's gonna have a bit of time to get out of forming a few more units and maybe try and greet this out closer to the center of the map. Neither of these players are gonna have stim. And interestingly enough, GuMiho's not even like sieging up to siege tank. He's just using it unsiege to move across the map.
Sometimes that is better, but I think with the number of Marines, it would have been better to have the tank in tank mode, I agree. Saves the medevac from the lock-on, but lock-on's been fixed, so we should have one immediately set up here. GuMiho does manage to siege the tank, and can now pick it up. There we go. That looks better. He's rallying everything forward. This is... This can be dangerous if NaTuRal happen to just take a good engagement and push everything back, but...
I think NaTuRal's gonna push everything back and take a good engagement over here.
It kind of looks that way. We do have more reinforcements here, though, including a Cyclone and another medevac.
Background vision non-existent right now for GuMiho, and he does get forced back. Siege tank is now elevated over to low ground, and well, NaTuRal's lost a handful of his Marines, so he's got to be very careful over here. But overall, I think he's done a pretty solid job of pushing this pretty far back.
This could have snowballed, you know? You don't push it back immediately, suddenly there's 2 tanks even, and it's much, much worse. But he doesn't have a lot of fodder for this tank. The Cyclone is an important unit, but it shouldn't... Oh, Jesus, it should not get both medevac and tank here. And in fact, should really die.
Oh.
Nice pickup, micro. Big clever stuff
NaTuRal doesn't end up focus firing down that siege tank that's left with 3 hit points left. And that does mean that he loses all of his Marines on the front line and only has like this one siege tank. He's gonna have to repair it back up. Should eventually be able to deal with this, but he doesn't have any medevacs either because of that Cyclone, so he can't even move his siege tank forward. This is not over.
He wants to tap it. He's just like, he just wanted to touch it once to take care of that tank. There's a second tank now. And this is kind of what I was talking about, you know? This can snowball, but it looked like NaTuRal was doing a good job. Not anymore. GuMiho might just have done it here. He has Stone 3rd CC on the way, so while NaTuRal finished up, so did GuMiho, and he's just taking out NaTuRal's army. NaTuRal doesn't have anything to stop this.
NaTuRal's gonna lose his NaTuRal if he isn't careful over here. This is the 3rd siege tank now coming in, and suddenly this isn't just one SCV needs to be repairing. This needs to be like half of the mineral line repairing this. He's not repairing it.
Oh my
god.
That's it. That's over.
Die.
Game over. Even if he cleans this up, he doesn't have enough of an armor to counterattack anyway.
Siege tank just run away and say, well, I guess I can just fire off on those SCVs now.
Yeah, oh, this is totally game. He scans the 3rd thinking like maybe I can do this if it's still 2 base, but hey, trick, 3rd's over here.
I feel like he needs to just pull the boys and go now. But I'm not even sure if he would win in that situation. GG.
Well, I mean, he really did have an initially good defense, so that really shouldn't have done that. And that a lot of that had to do with that one tank surviving and that Cyclone getting a bit more than it should have too. You know, medevac and a lot of lock-ons going, but that can sometimes happen. And now it's going to be NaTuRal's map choice. Before we get into the lobby, we're gonna take a quick break. See you then. Welcome back. We are just getting right into the game. It's gonna be Frost as NaTuRal's map choice. And in the bottom left, took that game back last. It is the red Terran, GuMiho.
And up, or down in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, we have the blue Terran player. It's NaTuRal. NaTuRal.
Yes. Yeah. He probably really, like, you know, he kept on hearing this word natural in the English cast, and he was just like, that's a great word. Let me use it. So now every time you bring up his natural, he gets to be like, that's the name of the name of the movie, man. Oh my god. This is NaTuRal, and his natural died last game. Does that mean he's gonna die? I figured it out.
Illuminati. GuMiho was just like, GuMiho.
Wow. Please don't gum? Iho.
Iho.
Don't do that.
It's like a mishearing of the Japanese, like, Ohio.
Yeah.
Ohio.
You know
Ohio.
Does anyone bother capitalizing GuMiho's name correctly?
GuMiho.
GuMiho. I don't think so. I've never bothered. People are so particular about like SOS or the heroes because all the heroes have different ones, and that's kind of understandable for the heroes, but I don't think anyone cares about GuMiho.
I know I capitalize it properly because I pull it directly from OlimoLeague, which has always the correct capitalization.
Okay, but do you do that when you talk about it on Reddit? God, just calm down there.
I am completely off of Reddit. I have just given up on Reddit. I'm no longer using Reddit at all.
Wow, someone's a big boy. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
Your life is probably better.
I feel much happier. It's been like 4 or 5 days, and I'm just like a happier person.
It's like a cleanse, you know, like a juice cleanse.
It's like I just actually worry about the game now instead of what people are saying on Reddit. I'm like, whoa.
No. What
What a weird concept. Like, the thing that I actually enjoyed about the game in these scene is what I get to focus on now.
There's something here. Yeah, what a weird concept. This has been an interesting TvT just because they took so long scouting each other. There was no SCV scouts, and the Reaper gets here quicker and just coincidentally for NaTuRal. So does his army rallied across the map, whereas GuMiho even had a bit of indecision, thinking, oh shit, do I have to come back? This on his opportunity for his Reaper. It is one base versus two, and NaTuRal is going to try and get his command center lifted.
This Reaper is gonna go uncontested for a bit. There's no units coming out.
I hate the
There's gonna be a Liberator coming out eventually.
It's going to siege on the Reaper.
Reaper. Okay, it doesn't get fully surrounded.
This isn't working out,
I think it can deny a NaTuRal. This Reaper can deny a NaTuRal zombie growth.
I mean, besides the Reaper doing damage and more SCVs, oh, jibba 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 jibba. More importantly, the attack from NaTuRal didn't do anything. It didn't even kill units. Well, the Hellions are still alive. So now GuMiho can counter. Oh, the Vikings gonna catch the Liberator? Oh my god. NaTuRal's opener is just failing all over the place. Oh, Jesus.
If that Reaper just went back in... Wait a second. The Hellions are gonna make their way across the map. There's not gonna be literally nothing but a Banshee and a Cyclone to deal with this now.
Luckily, the Banshee can deal with everything. But that's still...
I mean, eventually, but not before the natural expansion gets canceled again.
Yeah, it might get canceled. It's Hellions. They'd rather go for the SCVs. Might bring back the weak ones, rallying forward Marines. Liberator managed to dodge with the Vikings somehow. I'm not sure about that. And the command center is canceled. This is so good for GuMiho.
Liberator sieges up at the natural, already killing off a decent chunk of workers, and it doesn't seem like GuMiho's pulling it back, so he end up losing a lot more than he needed to, but Hellions force their way in, gonna try and go after the Cyclone, do manage to pick it off, but loses a lot of units in the process, as well as a lot of workers.
Yeah. If he had been more bold and attacked 5 seconds sooner, he would have maybe gotten like 3 Hellions into the SCV line, and that could have been an equalizing amount of SCV damage for the Liberator that happened here. And that Liberator was not supposed to get anything done, so that was kind of lucky for NaTuRal. And that really helps him for how bad it looked, but it's still not great. In fact, his command center has been stalled out this entire time. He's down 7 workers.
Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting treat for NaTuRal to try and deal with, but Banshee is out. There are 2 Vikings out as well, but no detection just yet as the missile turret was not finished up, so he managed to nab himself 2 more worker kills. I guess closing the gap just every small little bit helps, but as you're saying, like, it's not even the fact that the command center isn't even finished, it's the fact that it's also gonna have to turn to an orbital command, and even whatever gap he's been able to even up so far, it's still 2 workers being produced at a time versus 0 workers being produced for a good bit of time for NaTuRal.
I like his faster third CC, and he even puts it on location, because really his NaTuRal should be on location already too, but it's going to take some time to even work, and then it might be pressured, and I'm not sure if he's going to be able to keep it alive for too long. Oh, there's nothing to defend this. Oh no. Oh dearie. Oh jeez. The attack is happening though, but it runs into a tank. The missile turret there was perfect. I loved it. Medevac's not going to be able to help very much. Oh, no, the tank pops, though. And I think GuMiho's got this. Oh, he's totally got this.
GG! GuMiho goes up 2-1 after yet another very odd game.
Yeah. I think that started off just odd because no one bothered to scout. Like, if you're going to open up with Reaper, and especially a 1-base build, you're usually supposed to scout a 4-base map.
Well, I mean, not scouting really worked out well for GuMiho, though.
Yeah, it really was supposed to. NaTuRal had this like golden opportunity where he got his Reaper in there first, and he was rallying everything across the map, and it didn't work out like he wanted. But he has another game to bring it back, and it is going to be back to his. Well, I guess that was also his last map choice. But unfortunately, when it comes to a mirror matchup, it's really just about your own style preference. There's not really, the argument that can be made that one map is better than another. Don't know what he's going to choose. There's also only 5 maps.
That has to do with this idea that, maps tend to favor play styles and particular strategies rather than particular races. So,
I think more importantly, though, we got to remember, in a best of 5, they run out of maps pretty quickly to choose from. There's 2 maps in the ladder map pool that are not in the OlimoLeague map pool. I believe Dasan Station and... What actually is the other one that's not in this map pool?
Central Protocol.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. You're right, that wasn't in the map pool.
Is it Galactic Process?
Is it? I was just thinking, like, it's so weird that map was not supposed to be the last map to be
Galactic
chosen.
Process. Galactic Process is not in the map pool. That was it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I figured it out. But anyway, because yeah, for the past couple of days that I've been casting, everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot of people have been choosing that as the last map. Like they desperately don't want to play Galactic Process, when really that map was supposed to be one of the standard. This is always going to be played in the best of 3, and it's not. It's being kept as last, or it's entirely removed from map pools, and it's odd to see. But New Gettysburg was NaTuRal's map choice, and he does spawn in the bottom rights as the Blue Terran. It's NaTuRal.
And in the bottom left, leading up the series 2-1, give it up for GuMiho, the Red Terran player.
Alright. Well, NaTuRal did take the first game of the series in a fairly convincing manner. GuMiho has just brought it back tenfold, though. Like, that first win on Frozen, NaTuRal messed up micro here and there. Okay, that happens. But that last game was just, like, I'd say even tilt-inducing, because you were supposed to, I think, objectively look at that build, and you go into the mods, or not the mod, the, build order after with the stats, and you're like, shit, like I really should have done more damage, and I didn't. What happened? And you still feel that great about it. Like that was
I would
almost
say
an
that,
opportunity.
but at the same time, I also feel like that game on Frozen Temple was pretty tilt-inducing, with NaTuRal just like rallying in units, like for a really, really small push to try and do some damage. Like he wasn't, I felt like he even had like a nice transition point and everything behind it. He could have just left at any time and been okay, but just the continuous rally in like was pretty tilt-inducing, I think. The fact that he lost there.
Yeah, I guess anything can be tilt-inducing, but just in like my own games, I might get mad at Marines for rallying in, but tank pushes, especially on such a small map like Frozen Temple, they happen. And I can only like look at that for so much. But if I think I have like even a build order win, which last game was not a build order win, but like if I could have just done something a little bit more, I would have won. I don't know. Sometimes that's worse to think of. It's going to be a 1-act expand for both players here. New Gettysburg does have this little bridge that makes it not the biggest map initially, but it's such a dangerous bridge to use. It's almost...
You just never see it used for anything but like counterattacks usually in the late game.
It's gonna be awkward. Give me a thought about going around.
Like it's like a much longer arena bridge.
Oh no, he ran into his own grenade.
Yeah.
Whoopsie.
Juked.
Yeah, he has to run away now because both of them don't have any production. It really is about the Reaper, and that's why GuMiho, originally he was like, should I take the other way around and try and surprise him? No, then I'll be surprised by the Reaper. It's one of those things. And luckily he does get the high ground advantage for a second, and NaTuRal does not get what. If the Reaper dies for GuMiho, he gets this SCV and maybe another one in the main base. It really does suck, and well, nothing happens. GuMiho will take the upper path to try and surprise NaTuRal, but nothing's gonna happen.
I wonder what kind of magical science Terrans use. That they created grenades that don't actually like do devastating amounts of damage and just launch you forward. Like that's a really weird thought, isn't it? Like there's an explosion that doesn't actually hurt you very much.
I guess so. I think what's weirder is that a tank gets moved by it.
An equal amount of distance.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a Marine.
Something that's supposed to be rooted into the ground. Oh well. Science is not, doesn't belong in StarCraft 2. Despite being a sci-fi setting. Whatever.
Battlecruiser gets neuroparasited. How does that work?
Or like Battlecruiser gets by one Marine. It's like, I'm gonna die! It's over, guys! We're donezo! This should not do very much, but it is maybe distracting GuMiho from thinking about Banshee follow-up. That dance with the Hellions. And the Banshee fill up is happening, so GuMiho has no idea? Not really.
He's getting a Raven, so he's gonna have detection. He should have a Viking almost finish, if not finished, by the time the Banshee actually gets there. So I think it should be okay. And GuMiho also able to seize a little bit of map control as he moves out with some of his Hellions. He's gonna be able to scatter around, see, okay, my opponent's not doing anything super crazy, like taking a hyper fast third, but he is gonna move up over here and see, okay, it's just not a third on place. So he's gonna take his own.
The Banshee was, as you said, going to be countered anyways by Raven Viking, but it was still maybe a bit of a surprise for GuMiho. The units were already in position, and that just went quite poorly for NaTuRal, who honestly probably shouldn't even dedicate to a second Banshee. With the Raven out, there's no like, oh, I hope he doesn't, have a scan, or I hope he gets him off guard. It probably won't do very much at all. That's a lot of Hellions, and for a second I was wondering if NaTuRal was going to play mech, but no. Double engineering bay on the way for both of them, and stim even for GuMiho. Just coincidentally,
like
getting
a
more
natural.
Hellions.
NaTuRal's just trying to micro his Hellions around, trying to get the best angle to try and kill off as many of those Marines as possible, but looks like GuMiho's not going to have any of it. He pushes across the map, he's got his Raven and his Viking with his army, which I guess is maybe the reason why we end up having the second Banshee being made, in a hope that, like, as it is turning out to be, that the anti-air defenses are not going to be on the right side of the map, and there weren't really any missile turrets made.
Well, Cyclone was here. Can one want a Cyclone, but there was just enough Marine help.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter anyway. Trying to abuse this ledge, ends up losing the tank for it, but NaTuRal's tank, another one's available.
This is all of the units of NaTuRal. There's a new siege tank that just pops out and sieges up. Is going to be able to push this back, but I feel like that was a pretty good trade for GuMiho so far.
Oh yeah, I definitely think that was worthwhile. Doesn't have too much of an SCV lead, and the third command center is faster, but not, so insanely faster. It is more about the army going down, and NaTuRal not having a great army supply. Upgrades are going to be better for NaTuRal, as he went for the double engineering bay in time. It's going to be more about the combat shield timing, I think. And GuMiho's still going to try and pressure this third base.
Well, just taking a look at, I guess, the trades after everything was said and done, NaTuRal does have a nice little siege tank lead going for him.
Wow.
It is 2 siege tanks versus the literal none of GuMiho, but GuMiho being able to deny this third one more time is sort of surprising to me. I guess he has medevacs. No, he doesn't have any medevacs. He was making all those Vikings.
It's surprising that the third base was entirely lifted and the gas geysers were canceled. I thought he would kill a couple SCVs, but he does that and then some. And that's pretty bad for NaTuRal, who now is down significantly in SCVs. And, well, now if he's got everything... If everything goes well from here on out, it still doesn't really matter. Like, he'll get an eventual good army fight, and he'll have his upgrade lead, and that'll be great, but... that's if everything goes perfectly, and so far he's been caught out of position twice, 3 times. Bit of Raven harassment even.
Yeah, a lot of the production, as we end up seeing the Raven finally going down, but a lot of the production for NaTuRal is now finally kicking off as he has 4 reactors all finishing up at the same time, throwing down 3 more barracks. He is really going to be pumping out a ton of Marines right now, which is definitely going to be in his interest, because I feel like with such a massive siege tank lead also, if he can get a good Marine count lead, he should be able to push in and do a lot of damage when GuMiho is not really prepared.
As long as he has medevacs in the air, moving his tanks around, his tank lead should definitely be enough. But with so few Marines, well, a second ago we only had 6, ends up with 14. That is a scary situation, because your tanks can be outmaneuvered. But GuMiho tries to get a small drop in the main base. Doesn't really work out. It is hoping to distract, so the third base is under attack, and NaTuRal does not have his medevacs over here, so his tanks are in the live position. Only 1 helping out.
Yeah, but Marines stem forward, not focus firing down the tank, going after the Marines, and he ends up losing all of his own, and it's going to end up losing his siege tank as well, and there goes that small little lead that he had, I would say.
Still 5-2, but he loses more SCVs. 50-ish, 49, just barely enough at the 50, is still enough, I think, for 3 bases. As long as he, always sends his SCVs back to mining as soon as possible, and he has the gas geysers, he's not messing up his macro completely. I still believe NaTuRal can bring this back, but GuMiho is kind of like unrelenting aggression. Oh no,
Oh.
catches the attempted chase from NaTuRal. That was pretty bad.
Gonna lose 2 of his medevacs as well. Both these players scanning
There's
to
no
see what they have
medevacs.
left, and
Oh god.
GuMiho smells blood.
Yeah. Without medevacs and with a tank, so what the frick was that tank doing up there? I don't know if NaTuRal can hold on to his third base.
Well, he does still have a couple, like a siege tank lead, so that may end up working out in his favor, especially since he's only up against 2 siege tanks, since the other siege tank is still rallying its way across the map. But yeah, he's getting cut off from his natural expansion. This is looking pretty bad for him right now.
It is. I think this is the tipping point where, you know, 10 SCVs, 10 army supply, that's fine, but 20 SCVs, 20 army supplied now. And the really thing he really has to look forward to is better upgrades, but not many Marines to use the better upgrades.
Oh man, GuMiho was already leading up the series 2-1. If he takes this game, he moves on to the grand finals. Gonna face off in that TvT versus Byun. NaTuRal's still fighting for that last little bit of hope. They're even on upgrades, but man, it's the Marine count that really tells the tale. 9-28.
Yeah. Out of tanks now. Oh no, there's one in the main base. Fighting upon. But still, can't take out that many Marines. The commander's about to go down. NaTuRal, no, you're NaTuRal. Poor guy.
Well, he's
Always
still
safe
got,
to
I mean, he has an even number, if not more siege tanks than GuMiho, just because, again, GuMiho has to rally those in all of his reinforcements across the map. It's,
saying?
okay, now it's starting to look much worse again. It's just starts losing more of these workers.
Yeah.
GG.
A lot of that game was about just being out of position, though. I think at any point he could have had this like perfect line of defense, and instead he kept getting just shoved this way and that, and then losing control of key army units at certain points. GG. I did say it was a pretty good test for NaTuRal. GuMiho's always been a pretty good TvTer. And he did take one game, and he got to the semifinals. And as I said, NaTuRal getting better and better. But GuMiho is still kind of Gumi God. And the GuMiho Byun finals, well, not the epic tale of the up-and-comer versus the established Byun, basically, is still a really good TvT. And I'm really looking forward to seeing Mech. I said GuMiho might do Mech on Frost. Had we seen it? We did see it, and it wasn't Mech, but it's also a really wonky game. But he might do it against Byun. It was really weird. The last time we saw Byun in a TvT, I can't remember who it was against. It might have been against Keen, or maybe GuMiho, when I think about it. They were oddly passive. Like, no rush 10 minutes type of passive in a Korean TvT. It was so, so weird. So that might happen again here. There is going to be another 10-minute break. So we'll go to our own smaller commercial break and come back and I guess talk more about it all. So see you guys in a few.